twice in a row. Trying again. Okay, let's see. Are we going live yet? It looks like Restream has not noticed me trying to go live. No, wait. No, it is catching me. It is catching me.
Yeah.
If anyone sees this yet, okay, here we go. Looks like we are going live. I am so sorry to folks. For some reason, the internet at my house just died for no apparent reason. No explanation, and it died twice in a row, so I thought I was coming back up, and then it went down again. So, sorry about that. This, of course, was the worst possible timing. My internet has been completely solid for, I don't know, months. We haven't had a problem, and so right while I'm streaming on the Xbox channel, that's when it decides to go down. So, that's life, right? So, thank you, everybody, for your patience. Let me just make sure that everything here is up and running. Yeah, it does look like we are hosted again on the Xbox channel. Thank you so much to the Xbox channel for their patience with whatever disaster just happened at my house. I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. Joe, do you need an invite back into the game?
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Let me invite Joe back into the game so that we can have all of us here.
I'll just join on you. We're good.
Oh, you're good? Okay. Well, cool. Anyway, welcome back to the State of Decay 2 stream, and let me remind everybody that the reason we're here today is because we are promoting Extra Life. Extra Life is a charity that donates money to the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. There's a lot of reasons to donate. One is if you care about the kids. Another one is the fact that we're going to be giving away prizes to folks who donate during this hour, including this lovely State of Decay 2 Extra Life pin, free codes for State of Decay 2, and a years-long subscription to Game Pass Ultimate. So thank you for sticking around here, despite the fact that we've been having some technical difficulties. Hopefully, that's not going to plague us again throughout the rest of this stream, and everything will go really, really smoothly, including our attempts to take out some of these infestations in State of Decay 2. Now, I know that... Oh, there's somebody... I've got a friend knocking at my door here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Oh, there went my door. No, I did not try to get in there. I'm trying to kill this monster. That's what I'm trying to do. So I realize there's a lot of people watching this who might not really know much about State of Decay. So State of Decay involves a lot of fighting these monsters, and that takes up a lot of our attention. So when we're in the middle of a fight, talking might end up being a little bit hard. I think that one already didn't have a head on. Well, that was convenient. I appreciate zombies who are self-beheading. Yeah, so I've got this community that's trying to live in this small town called Providence Ridge. We've got this huge map that we want to take over and make safe for human beings. Right now, I've just got this base, a handful of outposts, and a bunch of infested sites. And so my friends, Brant and Joe, are here to help me clear this place out and make it a little bit safer for my people. Their morale has been a little bit low lately because we've got such a disaster going on. But with a little bit of teamwork, we can make this place safe. So, all right. This has been a nice, exhausting battle. Let's take stock of ourselves. I think we actually managed to clear out this infestation just by attracting all the zombies to our silly fight that we were having out here. So we should probably focus on... Oh, yeah, we have this place next door. Looks like Joe might already be solving some problems over here.
Yes.
All right. So, by the way, if folks are watching us on our actual channel, on the State of Decay channel, we've got moderators who are watching your chat and funneling questions to us. And so, if anybody wants to, know things about State of Decay 2, please feel free to ask your questions. Oh, hey, it looks like we attracted the zombies out of this place too. We've had a little bit of an issue with zombies vacating infestation sites by themselves without a lot of input from us.
Yeah, that's what happened there.
So I'm not sure what's going on there. We have been putting a lot of attention into sort of trying to improve the infestation experience overall. No details on that effort yet, but that is top of mind, and so that is something we're going to need to look into because, if you see something on the map that says there's a bunch of zombies here, when you get there, you should see a bunch of zombies. You want to drive, Jawa?
Yeah.
I'll ride in the back, where it's safe.
There's nowhere safe when I'm driving.
So do you want to head down to that last infestation, and maybe it'll stick around or maybe it won't? Hard to be sure. If not, we know the Plague Hearts are definitely going to give us some resistance. So yeah, so those of you who might be just joining us, the reason we're doing this stream is because we really want to encourage people to donate to Extra Life. If you want to donate, by the way, we've got a URL right here that you can follow. It goes to tiltify.com, which is sort of the platform that the Xbox team is using to sort of funnel all their donations, keep track of who's donating and what's going on. And that's the way that you can, by donating during this hour at tiltify.com/@Xbox, that is how you're going to qualify for the giveaway that we're doing. We're giving away some pins, we're giving away some free copies of State of Decay 2, and we're giving people, giving one lucky person a free year-long subscription to Game Pass Ultimate, which, I've got a subscription to Game Pass Ultimate. I use it for all kinds of things. I keep being surprised by the weird, ridiculous, and cool games that keep coming to that platform. So definitely check this out. It's really worthwhile.
The great thing about Game Pass, whether you have it on Xbox or
nice
on PC, is just this idea that you get all of the Xbox first-party titles on day one on Game Pass. It's $15 a month. It's a nice little thing, unless you're just starting, and I think there's still a deal for it. But you get everything from Forza Horizon 5 to State of Decay 2.
And if you're a lucky...
And someday some other game.
And State of Decay 1.
That's true. And if you're a lucky donor during this hour, you don't have to even pay that $15. You just get it for free. So where do we want to go now? Do you want to head up to the Plague Hearts up in the northeast? That's what I've got marked on the map.
What's left in those dead husks over there? And
I can loot that later. I can do my personal stream and just go and gather a bunch of loot. Let's get into some combat. We can also, there's some hostile humans over here, if we want to just be hostile people.
Hostiles?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
I think so.
We should go try to befriend them.
That sounds like a great plan, Brent.
We should engage in some gunboat diplomacy.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of different people you can meet in State of Decay. Most of them are nice. Most of them are really nice people who just maybe want a little bit of food from you, or maybe some help clearing out an infestation. But now and then, you just meet some complete jerks who all they want to do is murder you and take your stuff. And so right now, since we are, representing the not complete jerks part of the world, part of society, we're going to go over there and maybe put an end to their shenanigans. This is all in the name of justice. Justice, indeed.
Well, I mean, the threat to your community can come from a lot of places, right? That's a whole part of the whole zombie genre, is the idea that it's not just zombies that are threats to you and your friends.
Yeah, the zombies are almost just the weather in a place like this. It's living in a really harsh world, but what this does is it really sort of makes people sort of show you who they are. When things get extreme and people can't be comfortable anymore, then you find out who's a jerk and who's a nice person. And so, yeah, it looks like we're going to find out who some jerks are real quick. We do have a... let's deal with this, and then we'll answer a couple of questions from the chat. You parked us real close to these people.
Of course I did.
Luckily, we're only in the Nightmare Zone, not lethal, which is going to make this a little bit easier.
Well, and one of the things that we did was to make it so that these folks don't immediately one-shot you.
That's true. That was a problem for a while.
With their first shot, right?
Yeah. All right, so we have a question. Some dude wanted to know, what's it like working on State of Decay 2, and how does it make you feel to see how it has grown over time?
Ooh, can I take this one?
Take it, Joe.
Okay, so I actually didn't start working on State of Decay 2 until about a month before release. And I gotta say, having watched it grow and receive the accolades that it has gotten since release, has just been it's been a hugely inspiring ordeal. I guess ordeal is probably a bad word to use there, but it's it's certainly been a labor for everybody involved, and so I think maybe using the word ordeal isn't necessarily out of sorts. But watching a game that I already loved from a group of developers I respected deeply already, and then watching those developers take this product and turn it into what it is now, and what we're continuing to do with the game, it's awe-inspiring. So anyway,
Well, and
There,
you're
uncushed as a fanboy.
you're in a really good position to sort of evaluate how the game has grown over time because as a customer advocate, when the game has been going badly or when the game has problems, you're the first to hear about it from our audience. Like how has sort of the relationship with the audience changed over time from your perspective?
Oh wow! When we first started, we were having to quash some really nasty things, right?
We had an audio
It
bug
used-
that was like deafening people by screeching at them through their through their headphones.
Yeah, and that one was really fun. We did eventually have to figure that one out. And in fact, that was probably the reason I got a good reputation with one of the reasons I got a good reputation with the folks in the studio is that I was actually the person who got the 100% repro on that and
Oh, that's
did it
right.
in studio. So anyway, that was a ton of fun. To come into the studio when I was working at Xbox at the time, and then so it was here for a stream that day, I think, and it was just super awesome meeting everybody and getting to know everyone and what they wanted for the game versus what needed to be delivered. I think that's something that a lot of people don't pay attention to when we're talking about game development. But what you asked was how have the interactions with the customers gone, and it's pretty much like we used to have bugs where people would want to like throw the controller and just stop playing, and now the only people who want to throw the controller are the people who would do that on any game. And so we've gone from like, oh my god, I want my money back, to hey, can you guys fix this? And there are a lot more people talking to us as well.
Brant just killed the play card all by himself. I was sitting there trying to wait, but Brant's like, I don't need you people.
No, he doesn't. It's Nightmare. He's good. He's a lethal player. He just doesn't.
I'm getting my butt kicked by a feral right now.
Oh, okay. I got your back.
But I think the best thing is that like as we have gained trust as a studio on this product with our community, like just how the customers have interacted with us and the things that they say online and in the chat have changed. You hear a lot of stories about the toxicity of gamers when they don't get what they think that they want, and that was certainly true in the beginning, but it's not as much so now. Like we've opened it up, and players are a lot more receptive.
Yeah, I've rarely seen. Oh, I thought you were in, Brant. I've rarely seen a community that has been as sort of positive and pro-social and supportive of each other as a community that we've that you and a lot of our community teams have nurtured here surrounding State of Decay 2. And I mean, one of the and one of the ways that I think our community is showing that is I've already seen a bunch of donations go up during this session, which I really appreciate. For those of you who are joining us a little bit late, by the way, tiltify.com/@Xbox. That's where you can donate to Extra Life. I just want to keep hammering that home because I know that people, are going to be joining the stream off and on at various points, and I really want people to understand what they can do to sort of contribute to this charity. Make sure that our hospitals are well funded, particularly our children's hospitals, to defeat some of the I almost just feel like I don't want to describe the difficulties that a lot of these hospitals are trying to solve for people, because it's one of the most heartbreaking things. Oh no! One of the most.
Come on, man.
You know what? This feels like the wrong context for me to talk about serious matters. Donate to Extra Life, please. Because I'm just sitting here screwing up our characters, and that feels like maybe the wrong moment to get serious. But yeah,
you should have gotten serious while letting me drive.
That probably would have been a good move. Okay, so our goal is to take out this plague heart. So why don't we go over and do that?
So I have a little bit different perspective on that last question.
Oh, yeah.
I've had the good fortune of watching this thing grow from nothing. And, what started out as arguably a very indie game in the first game.
No, wait, stay away from that. Brant. Okay. Brant!
Yeah. Oh. Thanks for watching my back.
I tried to tell you.
Thanks for watching my back. Yeah, just it's like I've gotten to watch my child born, and then make all the usual screw ups, like get arrested and stuff like that, like all good teenagers did. And then we've because of the response from our fans, the people that are out there, we've had the amazing good fortune to continue the franchise and improve it. Like State of Decay 2 is the thing I'm most proud of in my entire career. And I've been working in games for 25 years, and this is the ability to continue working on this game is solely based on you people out there playing it. Like, we didn't make that decision. That was you guys supporting our game and playing it on Game Pass made the decision to allow us to continue to update it. So now this game is a functional young adult out in the world, having fun, and we have you to thank for it. So just really proud of the game and this community for being such a amazing group of people to correspond with. Thanks for helping us make it.
So while you were telling us that, we actually got some news about the previous segment. So each of the segments that we're running here. Oh, by the way, let's head up to this base up here. It's controlled by 2 plague hearts that we haven't scouted yet. If you guys wouldn't mind driving around a little bit and scouting while I'm filling folks in. So during each segment, we're running different giveaways, and during the last segment, there was a pretty big giveaway that was being run. I think you might have left Brent behind there, Joe.
I've got the host though, so
I can't. I got out to fill the car.
Oh, you have a gas.
Oh, we are really low on gas. That is true. Yeah, let's let Brad do that. Anyway, there was a giveaway. So during the Aaron Greenberg segment, we had several winners. Gavin D, Angela S, Alex C, and Larry C were all winners. So congratulations to you folks for winning the prizes during that segment. And then during Phil Spencer's segment, there's a whole other set of winners. It looks like Havor, Susan S, Kristen R, Cliff T, and Timothy M were all winners during that segment. So congratulations to you folks. I hope you're still watching in the chat and that people have gotten in contact with you about your prizes. But thank you so much for donating to Extra Life. So if people want to sort of win this next round of prizes, or if you just want to give to a really good cause, go to tiltify.com at Xbox. You can donate there at whatever amount you want. No matter what you donate, you're going to be a part of this giveaway, and so we'd really love to have you be a part of this. All right, so the question is, where is the Plague Heart that has taken over this area? So when we're playing in the Nightmare Zone, if you're playing in an earlier difficulty level, we just tell you where all the Plague Hearts are. But if you're in the Nightmare Zone or the Lethal Zone, we don't tell you. And so you'll see these red icons saying, these things are in zombie territory, but we're not going to tell you why. And you have to scout yourself to try to find them. So it looks like Joe's got a guess that maybe there might be a Plague Heart up that way. So do we want to head up that way? It looks like, oh, I'm just running behind. You guys have already headed up that way. So we're going to go. So, by the way, we've got a bunch more questions from our chat. So, let's see here. Rage Knuckles wants to know, you know what? We should fight some Juggernauts. Since we've we've got a public-facing wish list and a good relationship with our community, that means we listen to a lot of people. They want to know, what is the craziest request people have ever made of us?
I don't know that it's necessarily crazy. But it was crazy detailed. I think there was a suggestion on the website or on the wish list to come up with another leader type called a psychopath, and this person went to great lengths completely defining it and laying out how it would work and yada yada yada. But essentially, anyway, it'd be a psychopath. I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah, and we had
what I would want to play.
Yeah, we do have one leader whose whole vibe is that they're very pragmatic, right? That they're willing to resort to violence in order to get what they feel their community needs, and that's the warlord. Going full psychopath, unfortunately, one of those. It's actually really difficult to try to run a community as a true, complete psychopath. I think it takes, people can do it for a short amount of time, but eventually something just collapses. And State of Decay 2 is about trying to, figure out how to build something back in the wake of an apocalypse. And I think that actually a true psychopath would probably end up needing to be a loner in order to to be themselves. And given just the sheer amount of investment that we put into each of our leader types, each of them has got this full set of different mission lines that are all associated with them. It would be a really big investment to add something like that. But one of the things
ultimately it's kind of against the overall feeling of State of Decay, right?
Yeah, or at least the overall intended feeling of State of Decay. It's like there are places, like for instance, you saw us fighting some hostile humans, and right now we don't really have a lot of recourses. Like if you're in conflict with someone, there aren't a lot of choices besides fighting them. Aren't a lot of choices for making peace, that sort of thing. And I feel like that's sort of that's a thematic limitation of the game, something that we would love to improve at some point, giving you more options that don't necessarily mean resorting to violence all the time. With zombies, yeah, you kind of got to resort to violence or running away at the absolute least. But yeah, when we sort of set things up so that violence is the only answer, usually that's because we've made a mistake or we didn't really fully calculate how something was going to come across. In general, that actually isn't what we want this game to be about. And so, yeah, leaning full bore into the idea of a psychopath leader is probably something we wouldn't do. But at the same time, we did appreciate just the sheer amount of work that people put into a lot of these ideas, and I hope that, even if there's something that we don't create in our game, because for whatever reasons, thematically we don't think it's appropriate, or because it's just impossible for some other reason, we really do hope that, it's a big industry out there, and we really hope that people do get to find the games that they want to play, whether it's with us or with somebody else, because I don't think people are ever really wrong for wanting something in a game or wanting to try out, an idea in a game, even if we're not going to be the ones who are going to provide it.
Yeah, one of the requests that we get a lot, and it's not crazy because it's been done before, but one that we cannot physically do is weather patterns.
That's actually the first one that occurred to me when somebody was asking about, like what requests we've gotten, is that, people have been asking for weather because this is an open world game and people can sort of easily imagine the benefits that weather could offer both aesthetically and also to the gameplay in a survival game. It's different to be lost out there in the rain than it is to be, on a bright sunny day. Let's go over and see what plague hearts might be stopping us from claiming this warehouse space over here. And I don't know where exactly this is likely to be, but you probably have some good guesses. But yeah, so we've, people can definitely see the potential of that. But just right now, the way that we built our maps from the ground up, it would be a massive outsized effort to try and hack weather into our game. And so that's something that we would love to do at some point in the franchise, probably, if we get the chance. But yeah, the chances of us being able to do it in State of Decay 2 are pretty slim. But people ask for it all the time, and it's legit for them to want it.
There's a give and take at this point because we've basically, oops.
Oh, why did we both get out? I just realized that.
Because the car stopped and we're Pavlovian response to get out of the car whenever it stops. No, we'd have to give up something major to get a weather pattern running, and it would probably take us like a year. So. Yeah.
So before we go to our next question, let me just remind everybody who might be joining us late. This is a stuck car. That's the first thing I want to announce. Secondarily, we're part of an Extra Life drive that the Xbox team is running. And so if you go to tiltify.com/@Xbox, there's a donate button there. You can contribute to Extra Life, which is this brilliant charity that encourages, gamers and game streamers to donate some of their hard-earned cash to help children's hospitals, the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So please definitely donate. We've got some prizes for folks who donate during this hour, including this beautiful State of Decay 2 Extra Life pin. free copies of State of Decay 2, free codes for State of Decay 2, and 1 year-long Xbox Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. And that's like one of the best prizes for me. Like I there's few things that I subscribe to that I value more than my Xbox Ultimate membership, because not only do I get access to oh gosh, there's so many ferals. Not only do I get the ability to get attacked randomly by a bunch of ferals whenever I want, but oh, thank you guys. Oh, you got my back. I really appreciate it. But I keep being surprised every month by new games that I didn't even know existed that get added to the Game Pass roster that end up being like a favorite. One that just arrived that I'm really excited to try out is Exo 1. Just showed up. People have been telling me that that's a really brilliant game. And just, I don't know, like every month there's some new discoveries. And so it's totally worth checking out. So please donate during this hour. Enter yourself in that drawing. It's really good for everybody. Whether you are the recipients of this, the beneficiaries of Extra Life, or whether you're just somebody who wanted to get a nice pin or a nice Game Pass subscription. Whoever you are, this is just a win-win for everybody. Okay, so
I think it's important.
Yeah,
I need an outpost, Jeffrey.
You need an outpost?
Yep.
We've got one that's fairly close down here. We could just drive to one if you want.
Okay.
I think it's important to note for people who haven't played this game that when we got stuck in the car, Joe went into the radio inventory or radio menu and did the unstuck button, which is really important.
Yeah, and that was something I think we added that right before we went live. I think it was one of the later features that we added, but we realized that there's sure, in real life you might get your car stuck somewhere in the zombie apocalypse and not have a I just realized that I was a driver and not have a lot of recourse. And that actually in State of Decay 1, that was a big part of the experience. If you lost your car, you lost your car, and that was it. But in State of Decay 2, we wanted to be a little bit friendlier to our community. We had gotten a lot of feedback about how easy it was to lose a treasured car in State of Decay 1. And so we decided to just, break with realism a little bit and just let people have their cars back. And I think that the audience has responded well to that. And that's sort of the philosophy we take is that, ultimately we're making this game for the audience. We're making this game for you. And so we want to make sure that you're having a good time.
Well, and for people who play big open worldy type games like this, where you're in a sandbox, and so they're used to finding environment bugs, i.e., places you can get stuck that you can't get out of, and so I find it to be a great boon in situations like that, which is almost all open world games are plagued by something like that, in some way, shape, or form. And so it's been a boon for our customers as well from the very beginning to just have that right there, to be able to press that stuck button and get back into the map.
So I'm gonna grab some
like when we used to have that car thing where you would hit a car and go flying literally outside the map.
Yeah,
remember that one?
Yeah, that was a great one.
That was fun.
That's actually one of our most recent fixes was we had a bug where if you repaired your vehicle, just doing a perfectly normal thing like repairing your vehicle, sometimes a little problem with the door would cause it to fly across the map in a single frame, hit the car, and start pushing it across the map. And it was a hilarious, weird disaster. And we just finally fixed it. That was actually one of our longest standing bugs that we finally fixed recently because a programmer had the right insight at the right time to figure out what to do. So whenever Brant is done in there, we do have a play cart that's just really close. We could probably go take that out.
So we have Kingsman King in the Xbox chat who asked, should I play SOD 1 before I play SOD 2? I'm going to let Brant answer that one.
Well, I mean, no, you don't have to. SOD 1 is definitely a very rough game. It plays a little bit differently. Though a lot of the fans who are with us today fell in love with the franchise playing that game. It gives you a little bit more of a narrative experience. You get everyone sort of has some initial shared characters that they can all relate to. But SOD2 is like a much larger game, a much more full experience. We've got 5 maps for this game instead of the 1, and we got a lot more eyes on this game, a lot more fingers in the pie. You know, we
spent a lot of time polishing it with a full team of people.
Yeah. So I mean, I still play State of Decay 2 almost every night because I just like it. I haven't played State of Decay 1 in a long time because I wasn't able to grow my communities as much in State of Decay 1 as I was in 2. I was never very good at the State of Decay 1 breakdown, which really had legs for that game.
Yeah, that was sort of the long-term, very replayable expansion pack that we did. Now, if you actually get it on Game Pass, you get the full like the Year One Survival Edition, which includes all of the expansion packs and things.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want the full experience from start to finish, yeah, I mean, play it. It has we have a lot of lore ties in State of Decay 2 to the original game,
but none of them are required. Like you will not have trouble understanding what you're doing in State of Decay 2 if you've missed State of Decay 1's lore. We got a bunch of references, to that experience, but you don't have to get them, and it's totally okay. Like the game is more about your experience surviving day to day, much less about the broader story. Though it is there to provide some context.
We had a fun combat.
Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna set some smaller zombies on fire so we can deal with the bigger zombies, which are also on fire, but they just don't care. Go! Time to reload.
This is what I use explosives for.
And what I see a lot of our community doing is they'll go back and play things like Breakdown or Lifeline, especially Lifeline. So some of the DLC from the original State of Decay, it certainly informs what was happening in State of Decay 2. So like if you want to see where some of the thoughts came from for this game, certainly take a look at some of the DLC that came out of that first game.
Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of the structure of State of Decay. Oh gosh, a lot of the structure of State of Decay 2 was based on the experience we had with Breakdown, and like wanting people to be able to sort of play long term, keep moving their community from map to map. And we're even, we've noticed that a lot of players even want, even more of an ability to play forever, to play a community for a really long time, rather than, feeling like they need to sort of end their game and start a new game. A lot of players really get invested in the people that they've built up, and they want to spend a lot of time with them. And so we're a lot of the stuff we're working on now, which we can't really talk about in detail, is along those lines, trying to really give some extra tools and some better experiences to players who play this game over the long term, because a lot of the players who are playing the game right now are people who've been playing it for 3 years, which is just kind of incredible to me.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Lifeline is by far my favorite experience working at the lab so far.
That was a lot of fun. There was only just like a half dozen of us putting that together, and yeah, I had a great time with that too.
That was like a skunkworks project, and it came off really well, and I loved it. But just like longevity and gameplay wise, I really enjoyed SOD2, and primarily because I get to screw around with my friends in this game.
So for those of you who might be joining us late, this is part of this. We're talking about State of Decay 2, but we're also doing this as a charity drive for Extra Life. And I've noticed that we've just crossed over the $3,000 mark, which I really appreciate. Everybody who's been donating during this period of time, they're making themselves eligible for a free copy of State of Decay 2, a free Game Pass membership, these little pins. There's all kinds of good stuff that they can get, but also you get to just feel good that here on this beautiful Giving Tuesday, that you've decided to donate to such a brilliant charity as Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network. So thank you all so much for doing that. If you haven't done it yet, this is the URL. Please go check this out and see what you can offer.
Yeah, so, help the kids.
So speaking of disease, we got a question from MRD Gaming, who wants to know, how has the impact from the pandemic affected the studio's ability to work on State of Decay 2? Do you think that working from home will become the new norm? So I think that, so we actually, the latest edition of State of Decay 2, the Juggernaut edition, we shipped it just as the pandemic was beginning. And then a lot of the support that we've been giving the game since then, which is some of the biggest efforts we put into this game, have happened since the Juggernaut edition launched. Things like, Plague Territory, stuff like that. All of that was done during the pandemic with our entire office working from home. We actually hired a bunch of people right after the pandemic began. And so we've, even though some places have gone back to work at their offices, we haven't, because our office isn't big enough for our studio. And so we've all been working from home for the past 2 years, and I think we've accomplished some things that we're really proud of. There's some extra challenges to that. There's a certain comfort that you get from being around other human beings that can make things like stressful projects and stuff like that easier to handle. But this team has really stepped up to this weird situation and done accomplished some things that I as a member of this team am really proud of.
And to just to lend context to what Jeffrey is saying, when we shipped, or at least some numbers, so let's put some data behind it. When we shipped Juggernaut Edition, that was update 15. We are about to release update 28. So since March of 2020, we are on our way to release 13 full updates. And that's not counting hot fixes and other things to address bugs that cropped up just as a normal part of development. So yeah, I think we're pretty strong, and we've got a pretty solid formula for how to work from home going, and I don't think it's necessarily hurt us a bunch.
Yeah, I think that the future of game development, I don't think is necessarily going to be always working from home exclusively. I think there are benefits to being in a room with other people when you're trying to collaborate creatively on something, and it's hard to completely replace that from being at home. But I think that now that we've seen how possible it is to accomplish big things with people working from home, I would be surprised if we ever went back to a full everybody's in the office environment. I think we're always going to have at least some of the team, whether it's certain people are always working from home and certain people are always in the office. Or if we just have more freedom for people to say, hey, you know what, this week I need to work from home, and it's fine, and everybody knows what to do, and nobody panics. There's just a lot more potential.
Fire in the hole.
What have you done?
Wait, Brant. Let me at least do the first pop so we can guarantee a death.
Is that a bunch of C4?
That's a bunch of C4, yeah.
C4,
right.
baby.
Go.
Boom! Nice. That was beautiful, Brant. Thank you. I love that it's my community that benefits from all this. So, we put on this stream, and I get to walk away with all my play cards dead. It's great.
Well, but we get all of the influence from killing everything for you, so
I guess that's true. You get a bunch of multiplayer rewards once you get back home.
Yeah.
So
we also get influence for our community.
There's still something up here in the north of the map. We should probably head back there at some point and see if we can clear out that base.
Oh, I bet it's in those houses.
But anyway, yeah. So I would be surprised if we ever go back fully to everyone needing to be in the office. Even before the pandemic, we always had a few people that were off-site. I think our original community manager, for instance, Sonia, was always off-site and only came to the office for big company events and things like that. And so it's always been possible, and people have always known in the back of their minds this was a thing that you could do. And there's some studios that have always been, especially some indie studios, that have always been, remote and work from home. But I think it's there has been some kind of cultural shift now where it's just people wanting to work from home. People understand that, that's okay. There's benefits to doing that. There's reasons why you might want to. And we don't need to necessarily insist that everyone has to be in the same room all the time.
Yeah. Let's see. How are we doing on the questions?
So we got I think we have 10 more minutes?
I think so, yeah. We're going to be throwing to the next phase of Xbox's overall extra life drive pretty soon. And so I should remind people again, here's the link to tiltify.com at Xbox. Obviously, you can't click on this because that would be a wonderful feature for Twitch to add, but we don't do that. But you can. I think that people have been posting links in the chat, so you can definitely go there that way. And donate to Extra Life. The Children's Miracle Network needs as much money as we can give them. And so we really want folks to take part in this and do what they can. And, we're giving out stuff. I keep dropping this pin, but we're giving out these one-of-a-kind pins. Not one-of-a-kind. They're about 100 of a kind. 100 of a kind pins. And free copies of State of Decay 2. a free Game Pass Ultimate membership. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So whether you want to do it out of the goodness of your own heart or out of a desire to have some unique merch, either way, whatever your motivations, we don't care. We just want to make sure that these donations come in and that the Children's Miracle Network has got the resources they need to do the good work that they're doing.
Yep. Special place in my heart. My daughter was in a children's hospital after she was born.
Yeah, no, when my son was born, he was in the NICU at the hospital that we were at for a little while, and it turns out there wasn't anything wrong with him. He was just a weirdo that freaked doctors out because he was just breathing strangely. He wasn't breathing badly. He was just breathing strangely, and it was really, I felt really, lucky that I had the kind of insurance that meant that we could decide to stay at the hospital for a little while, in order to make sure that he was okay before we brought him back home. And not everybody's in that position. We really want to make sure that that we are feeding the resources we can into our medical system so that more and more people are able to get the benefits that they need from good medical care. And that's really hard to do. Not every system works as well as people would like it to, but living in the system we should all do our best to give folks the resources that they need to make this work.
Oh, and depending on where you are, like for instance, I don't know if this is going directly to Seattle Children's or if it's just the broader Children's Miracle Network, but like Seattle Children's, as an example, I did a little bit of research because I was doing this for my personal stream as well. But the Seattle Children's serves 4 states, and as long as people who don't have the means to pay for any type of care are within those 4 states, they can apply for need-based financial aid, and that's a huge thing. That means that essentially, like, what your money goes to is essentially like helping people who maybe need the care, who can't afford it, get the care that they need for their children, and that's a huge burden to lift off of a parent, especially if they're already having to live with a child who needs constant care, and especially the kind of care that might require hospitalization.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, do you guys think we have time to take out one more plague heart?
Let's
We
do
do,
it.
but I thought you wanted this base.
Oh, no. I just wanted it free. I just wanted the option of the base. I don't need the base.
Do you want to drive?
Yeah, you go ahead and drive. That's cool. I'll slither into the
Okay.
back seat. You can take it. Quick, before the Juggernaut gets us.
What Juggernaut? I don't see
Juggernaut.
The one in
headlights.
front of us.
There's a Juggernaut in front of us? I don't
Not
see
anymore. The best way to have there not be a Juggernaut in front of you is to turn tail and run.
him. Juggernaut. Hey, look, it's a bloater.
So,
You
we got a question from Undead.
saw that?
We got a question from Undead Toad. Undead Toad wants to know, can we briefly explain State of Decay's timeline? When the DLCs happen, when the different games happen, that sort of thing. So, the original State of Decay, correct me if I'm wrong about this, Brant, the original State of Decay came out in 2013, and it was meant to feel not like, to be contemporary at that time, but not like, we didn't nail it down to a specific date. So if you played in 2014 or 2015 or 2016, it was meant to kind of feel like it could be happening now. We didn't want to really commit to a particular time.
Yes, that's true. Though I will say that we made a mistake and left a date on a desk calendar, and somebody did some research and found the only year in the 2010s that particular date fell on. So they decided that was the year that it happened.
Okay, that's pretty hilarious. So the original game, it starts 2 weeks after the outbreak. And when you're playing a couple of people who were on a 2-week vacation and they missed a lot of the beginning, so they just kind of start in media res. There is the Lifeline DLC. Breakdown DLC is an arcadey experience. It doesn't really tie to the timeline at all. The Lifeline DLC actually takes place a little bit earlier than the original game because it starts during the height of the outbreak, when the cities are first being abandoned. And so you play a military unit that comes in to try to evacuate a city in the wake of one of the worst outbreaks that's been going on. So those two happen around the same time as each other, with the DLC Lifeline happening a little bit later. I'm sorry, a little bit earlier. But then when you get into State of Decay 2, it actually, we skipped, is it something like, it's between a year and 18 months after
Yeah,
the
it's
original
about
State of
it's
Decay.
like 18 months.
So yeah, so the game begins with you and a small community of people, entering a military base that's been abandoned, and you've basically seen sort of the last defenses of humanity have just kind of given up and backed off, and it's down to these individual communities to try to survive on their own. So that happens about a year to 18 months after the outbreak. We're not really super specific about it because, this is kind of a time when, there's not like your life is being run by bureaucrats anymore. What time and date things happen doesn't matter as much as it used to. And so we're a little muddy about it. But yeah, that's sort of the timeline. And then, State of Decay, Heartland, and the Homecoming update. So Heartland, I believe, happens contemporarily with all the rest of State of Decay 2. And then the Homecoming update, basically, that advanced the timeline of State of Decay 2. So now we're kind of beyond Heartland, and we've moved a little bit later. So that now, a lot of the events that happened in our Heartland DLC back at Trumbull Valley, which is the same setting as State of Decay 1, a lot of that stuff is now in the past. And you're sort of dealing with the wake of that, including some new innovations that have made communities safer. That's probably hard to follow if you don't actually know anything about State of Decay, but you should join us. Come join us playing State of Decay 2. And the other thing you should join us doing is donating to Extra Life. So we are coming to the end of our time. We're going to need to throw to the Double Fine team. We're going to have, they've got some fancy folks over there. You're going to get to talk to Tim Schafer and Jack Black, who he played the voice of Helmut Fullbear, I believe, in Psychonauts, but he's also been in other Double Fine games going way back. Good buddies with Tim Schafer. I can barely tell the two of them apart. So you should definitely stick around. If you're watching this on the Xbox channel, you should definitely stick around for that segment. And if you're watching this on the State of Decay channel, we're going to be done. You should probably go and start following on the Xbox channel. Go join the rest of the team and see what folks are doing. So
yeah, Jack Black is only mildly more entertaining than we are.
Yeah. He's not as funny as me.
So we appreciate you all hanging out with us here, us sort of non-professionals, checking out our game and giving us the time, and especially for donating to Extra Life during this segment. We really appreciate it. We're during the next segment with Double Fine, they're going to announce the winners of the big prizes that folks, the folks who donated during this hour are eligible for. So definitely, if you did donate during this time, you definitely want to keep watching the Xbox channel and stuff like that. So thanks to my guests, Brant and Joe. And actually, I've got a little bit of time. Wait. Oh, crap. They got switched. Joe and Brant have the wrong name tags on. Oh, that's extremely
awkward. That's okay.
Why don't you two just say goodbye and then we'll move on.
We're interchangeable.
We are.
So, Joe, any last things you want to say before we pass it over?
One, I want to thank everybody. It's been a long road with State of Decay 2, and the folks that are here, and you folks make our jobs possible, and you make everything that we can do, like this stream, like this charity drive. You make it all happen. We're happy to have you. We'd be happy to have more, and we hope that yours stay safe, stay sane, and help the kids.
Brant, you have 5 seconds.
We're lucky to have you. Thank you, everybody.
We love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Donate to Extra Life. And we're going to get out of here and leave it to Psychonauts. So we'll see you all later. Bye. And welcome, Double Fine. I'm not sure when they're going away. Oh, yeah. Oh, they've gone away.
They have gone away.
Our people in our channel can still hear us. But they've got away. So okay.
We still have to make it. We have to make it awkward.
We have to make it awkward. Thank you all so much for coming out here to support us during this. Thank you for the donations. We really appreciate it, and we're gonna go.